Congressional budgetary dysfunction continues to hurt our military, specifically in this case our Navy. Fights over funding have stalled plans to build 2 new Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines. The White House has asked Congress for an exemption, but so far Congress remains gridlocked. Meanwhile, China's Navy is now the world's largest, according to the Pentagon's annual report. China's force consists of about 350 ships and submarines. That's 57 more than the U.S. Navy fleet currently has. That same report also suggests that China may put anti-ship ballistic missiles on its new cruisers. This would be the first time any Navy in the world has done this, and it would make China the most heavily armed surface combatants in any ocean in the world. But Congress remains stalled about these submarines. And also pressure is building for the House and Senate to pass a key suicide prevention bill. Once again, congressional infighting is preventing any serious progress on something that shouldn't be controversial, preventing veteran suicides. VA data shows that about 20 veterans die each day by suicide. And joining us now to talk more about the congressional budgetary dysfunction and how it's hurting our military is Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. He's also a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He's a former Green Beret. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, happy to. Thanks so much.
Now, when I say Congress, I should point out that you're one of the good guys here, Congressman. You're actually working on both of these issues, and I know you're on the right side of them. But a lot of this is stalled out, and we saw kind of the sadness of Congress yesterday with this COVID relief bill. Not that we need it, but the infighting just breaks it down on pet projects and who's going to support who's lobbyist here. But considering your service to the country, how frustrating is it for you to sit there and watch this play out? We can't get nuclear submarines passed by Congress because of budgetary infighting. We can't pass a veteran suicide prevention bill because of infighting in Congress. How do you do it, Congressman? How do you stay up there and keep fighting?
You know, some days I think my tours in Afghanistan were easier. But listen, the men and women that are out there right now as we speak are absolutely worth it, and they deserve better from Washington. That's one of the reasons that I ran for office. And what is so frustrating is, Speaker Pelosi can bring us back for an emergency session, and I say that with my air quotes, for the post office on a Saturday. Next week, we'll be voting on Kamala Harris's legalizing marijuana bill, but yet we can't get back here to hammer out a defense bill to get the men and women in our military what they need. As you pointed out, China is now building a ship every 6 weeks. Their Navy is larger than ours. They're challenging us in space. They're challenging us in cyberspace. They're putting ports around the world. We cannot take for granted that we will win now in a future military conflict with the rate at which they are stealing our technology and then producing it to then challenge our military. And yet, as you point out, we have this ridiculous infighting. On the other thing, on veteran suicide, that bill passed the Senate unanimously. Nothing passes unanimously in Washington anymore, yet it came out of the Senate unanimously. We can't get it to the floor in Nancy Pelosi's House of Representatives. But you're right. It's incredibly frustrating. Our men and women deserve better, but I will keep up this fight.
I know you will. And, we talked about this with Rob O'Neill earlier in the program about the need our military still has for men and women to sign up and volunteer to sign that blank check up to and including their own lives. And when you see this lack of support from Congress, what is motivating young men and women to actually sign up these days?
Well, for the love of this country. The problem is that we're seeing almost a warrior class emerge where the children and grandchildren of service members are the ones that are signing up. And then you have this just total disconnect from the rest of American society. But it's also a reason twofold. One, we need more veterans in Congress. We've gone from a high of 74% in the 1970s to now a low today in Congress. There's only 18% of the House. The other thing is this one of the reasons I want to get us back to national service so that young people graduate and they get out there and they serve, they learn leadership, followership, teamwork, and an appreciation for this country. And then they can go on to college or a job or what have you. But we've moved away from that. And I think we need to get back to it, and that America will be better for it.
I couldn't agree with you more, Congressman. You know, the silver lining of these wars is supposed to be that there are enough men and women who understand the sacrifice that it takes, that come home and are still willing to serve their country like yourself, which to me is astounding still. But they understand the sacrifice and they have the moral authority to actually ask their fellow Americans to make those same kind of sacrifices. We don't hear that enough from leaders because we don't have enough leaders who have that moral authority. We think you do. That's why we like to have you on our program. We appreciate your time, sir. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks so much. God bless.